Hopefully that's a bit better. It might just be this area.
And yet,
Hopefully it's not too
life
bad.
at the top is immensely satisfying. You've mistaken me for someone else.
Back to? Good to hear.
Sorry, I'm really busy.
You're not really busy though, are you? You're playing tennis. Like a pompous little fuck. I think it's just the area. Sorry about that, guys.
I do hope Father is proud of me.
He is very proud of you. Right. See, I need to speak to him, but it's the minute I enter this area, it gets really laggy. I don't quite know why, but it shouldn't do.
Fine. Are you beggars ever going to leave me alone?
Nope, I'm not.
Maybe I'll visit outside the walls sometime. See how the other half live. Don't touch the wallet.
Well, I need to stamp. Give me a stamp, motherfucker.
Yes? What is it?
I will blow your head off. Okay, we'll raid your house instead. Right. Is there a back door, maybe? I mean, there's a probably a back door. Yeah, I apologise for having to end that very abruptly for a second there, guys, but I seem to have fixed the issue I was having.
I don't sell them merchandise.
People have a negative attitude. I guess I can spare a few minutes.
Then talk to me then, you fuck!
I live in fear now, you people reproduce.
I think this is bugged. So someone can wait for a few minutes. We love Keyboard Cat. Absolutely love Keyboard Cat. He is fucking great. You know what? ABS has really been testing me recently. Because it just will not do what I want it to do. Right. I need to go back over there, but I don't think he's actually going to talk to me. Maybe it's a hammer gun. That's not the gun I wanted to hide. Too many lies. I don't want to kill you, but I feel I'm going to have to.
Please, you're lowering my status. I'll do as you say. No need to be a brute. What do you want?
Get your beast under control!
Oh, you were trying to kill me as well. Okay, well that's just not going to end well, is it? Don't even try. Right, that's done. now we need to go and do a little cheeky assassination. Too many minds. Yeah, OBS is testing me today. Really testing me. No updates. I've even got a new graphics card as well. And it should not be causing a problem at all. What does that button do in Atom? Backtrack. Never heard that before in my life. I've been trying to fuck around as well with the vertical streaming idea. So I got rejected on TikTok, which is quite funny. But I'm thinking about trying on YouTube as well. Ah, no. That's going to be a death. No deaths allowed here. Fuck! See, it's funny because I said to myself earlier, and also to the guys in chat, that I will not reach 100 deaths by the time I finish this playthrough. And that's slowly edging away from me. You got me a couple of minutes? No worries, dude, at all. I just appreciate you dropping in. Are you good? How you doing, Anarchist? Welcome in. Welcome to see me die frequently. I appreciate that, Cat Dad. Have you been on Foxhole today, Anarchist? That's all. What was I meant to do earlier? I can't remember. Right. So we learned the robots are there, so they're gonna fuck me. So we'll go back there, but this time I will be prepared for lots of murder. Chatted evening. Right, let's hide that because I don't want that there. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. I don't want to hit the innocent people. No, don't reload. Bad time. Very bad time. Fuck. I need food quickly. Don't die. I don't like those robots. I hate how much they protect that place. It's very tedious and very annoying. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, excuse me. Set up your coffee hot. Hopefully this time I won't die, because I'm gonna walk up and prepare myself. Anarchist, if you're still there, we need to pipe up the facility at some point. I'm hoping that regiment has got all the infrastructure in place now. That coffee hot. Come on. I won't miss these load screens. I really won't. Okay, good. Because I logged on this morning to place down the Vic upgrade pad. Which I've come to realise is a bit of a bastard to place. Because the footprint should fit on a 3x2. But it doesn't. I had to make a weird foundation for it. I hate that building. I really hate that building. I realize I'm wearing the complete wrong armor, which is probably why I'm dying. Don't keep that coffee hot.
It must be horrible to live in places without luxury.
Oh, that's annoying. How many pecans did you put into it? Hopefully not many. I hope not many anyway. So I used 250, just one. Okay, good. I used one earlier to, well, sorry, I used 250 to build the, fuck, what's it called? The upgrade station. I think is all we had at the time. Oh, you use 50 mil. Okay. Fuck you. Okay, that's good. At least if we're getting somewhere now, that's good. That makes me very happy. How did I miss? How did I miss again? The fuck? Get fucked, you stupid robot. Fuck. Fuck. Come on, don't be an idiot now. Well, Lyndon's gonna be really happy that there's been more deaths. Why am I not using this? Back off. Where's the other little sneaky fucker? Well, where's the other one? Oh, I walked straight past it. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Well, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be that time round. I don't want to go in there. Thanks for your help, pricks. Where the fuck does I need to go to? Don't tell me it's underneath. Or was it free? Oh, is it in there? Okay, that's good. Can deal with that. Albert Hall. Been to many gigs here. IRL. Great venue. Very small venue. Oh, Anarchist. Did you manage to get Sleep Token tickets in the end? I really hope you did. Nah. Ah, that's a shame. Yes, I know, OBS. Stop moaning at me. You're going to ask me to remove all my weapons, aren't you? Or not?
If you'd just like to step over here. Yes, that all seems good to me. Have a good evening.
Thank you. I'm about to murder someone.
As you can see, we're having some technical difficulties. The show will begin in due course.
You didn't see nothing. You saw nothing. I'm innocent. You'll never catch me alive. You wouldn't shoot an unarmed man, would you? They probably would. Yeah, but it's points. It's ammunition I don't want to waste. I mean, that's a good point. I was literally carrying a very heavy firearm. Fuck! I lost everything. I've got nothing left. I need something so you guys can waste your points on. Make preparations for whatever that word says. Pingu, I really want you to go all in. So badly. Do it. Make preparations for her death. Well, she's already dead.
Wait,
so.
wait.
Hello? That's your first gamble.
Wait, wait!
Then go all in.
Please don't go just yet. I've been waiting for someone like you. I understand this might sound rather dramatic, but you are my...
See, what you should do is give yourself a wasteful 250. And then gamble all.
Me? My name is Alsop, Clive Alsop, and I'm a composer. I dabble in a genre many call classical music.
Look at me, for example. I went all in, won at the start, went all in again, lost everything. It's a sad story gambling.
My compositions to those
I bet I've got fuck all. I literally have.
As they say, if you can make it at the BBM,
when the fun stops, carry on. See, you won. I bet Anarchist won't go all in.
I can't really hum it for you, but trust me, it's perfect for the BBM. You see,
did you? You went all in?
my
I'm guessing you
orchestra,
lost.
We came
Oh.
here in the hope of spotting a BBM producer and handing them our tape. So far, we've been here for weeks and have had no such luck. But the time for action is nigh. The denouement, as
Yeah,
it
see,
were.
if I do it again, I'm going to lose everything. Watch.
I knew you were the perfect person
there we go.
for the job. Someone who can help us get.
Wait
into
till
the
Lyndon
BBM
comes back in and
gently
flexes all his
force them
points.
To listen to our tape.
Am I invisible, or are you
Fan. Now I've
Which
heard.
is it?
Yeah, cool. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do.
I live in fear knowing you people can reproduce.
Thank you. You live in fear knowing my people can reproduce. What a lovely thing to say to me. What do you mean failed? I didn't... Okay, so I've got to wait a day. I bet there's no fucking benches for me to wait on. I don't want to go back just to load back in. Oh, there's a bench. Is that a bench or is that just a pallet? It's just a pallet. I just want a chair, man. I need to rest my little legs. Grantley's had a long day. Oh, bench. That'll do. Yoink. Yoink. And we will wait. We'll do 12 hours, 13 hours. But this is daytime. And I now attend her funeral? Or do I still have to wait a whole day? Wait a day. Okay, I've still got to wait an entire day. So you're literally going to sit and waste an entire day. Fine by me. "24 hours. Let's go." Hopefully I don't get stabbed on the bench. That's always a possibility in London. You have a question for the near future? Shoot. What is your question? We like questions. Mariachi. Someone best be eating tacos. Or you sent me this question. You haven't sent me this question. Would I be interested in a 5 to 6 Fallout 4 challenge run? 20-minute, man. You know what? I was toying with the idea of a hardcore survivor run of Fallout 4, but a permadeath. So when I die, I die. But what's the prize, Pingu? I mean, I 100% be down for that. That'd be quite fun. You'll have to send me what rules and stuff. Yeah, I'm down for that. Absolutely. I mean, it's not like I've not died a fair few times. So I probably won't last long. So, if I'm understanding correctly, I'll make a character. Do those 20 minutes start from when you leave the vault? Does it have to be the vanilla game? You're gonna have to send me the rules. I would 100% be down for that. Leaving vault 20 minutes starts. Yeah, I could do that. And then you would choose which storyline I need to follow, and the furthest one, and the furthest person within that storyline wins. Yeah, I'm down for that, 100%. I am down.
Can I help you?
I'll either be really successful, because I know where a lot of shit is in the start of the game, or I'd prefer, am I allowed a companion?
What's this about? Smythe? The civil servant? This is
Because if I'm allowed a
irregular,
companion
not
as well,
to mention socially
I could,
inappropriate.
yeah, absolutely.
Can't
be
you
in.
see? I'm mourning the death of a close colleague and
But yes,
dear
I'm in.
friend.
Send me the date,
Meaningless
send me the rules,
slaughter.
I'm in.
A prodigious talent extinguished. You're implying you did
Absolutely.
this?
Will I have to do it on stream, or will it have to be a private recording that you watch? But I'll do either or.
You are a disgusting individual.
Yes, I am.
I do not understand how someone clinically professional as Smythe can tolerate you.
Because I'm a prick!
Let alone trust you with such high matters. There you go. More power to the faceless.
You know what? I can't wait to sell Billy the Fridge Kid
bureaucracy.
to the Gunners.
Did it necessitate the
I love
death
doing that.
of a gifted young woman?
Yeah, absolutely fine by me, mate.
I hope you're correct.
Tell me a date when you need
Let
either
me
need it by,
return to
and I'm there.
mourning. God save us.
That'd be good actually, because I'm starting to push a bit more content on TikTok, and I need to start doing stuff on YouTube as well. I'm gonna start streaming on YouTube at some point, I think, just see what it's like. Because I believe from what I've seen that the viewership on YouTube is a lot different than it is on Twitch. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Would it be on Discord or TeamSpeak? I mean, I've got both, so it's whichever one's easy for you. Oh, of course you can, yeah. Okay, cool. And yeah, just tell me your date, mate, and I'll be there. Election not special help speed of election season procedures. You got it. Let's go and read the elections. I do like a challenge, especially a permadeath run. I've not done one of those in ages. The last permadeath run I did, I recorded it for a YouTube video that I never actually released. But I think I lasted around 70 odd hours before a fucking suicide super mutant came up from behind. And I didn't hear it at all. It just appeared and blew me up. I was really annoyed. Really annoyed. I really can't wait to do this other Fallout 4 playthrough either. I really can't. I'm hoping from Sunday. Or maybe from next Tuesday we start that run. We'll also get Darktide on one of the days as well. I thoroughly enjoy playing Darktide. Yes, I had to restart it, London. For some reason, it was bugging and it was lagging. I think Twitch hates me. It's either that or my partner accidentally disconnected the Wi-Fi. Which is also a possibility. So let's all blame Sidious Goose. I enjoyed Darktide, to be fair. Though, like I said the other night, though.
Poster. Support your party to victory in the polls.
Yes.
Oh, we've got all sorts.
Ketamine?
We've got blue for the traditionalists, led by Freddie Newell. Bit daft, but they keep a steady hand on the rudder and all that. We've got
I
yellow
got the
for
last Kit Kat,
pragmatists
Lyndon.
if you fancy a bit of change. Lynn Moores is the leader, and or she should be, at any rate. And finally, stark raving mad. So, who? And?
We'll go traditionalists.
More of the same. Right now, here's 5. Go and put them. What? You didn't think I was handing them out for free? Popular participation is the elections. Don't. If you need more, I've got.
I don't want to do fucking more.
I do hope Father's proud of me.
I'm not putting posters up. Fuck that. I don't need to. I don't need to. I think I need to. I do need to. Oh, that's annoying. Right, okay. Luckily, we're not too far away. Yeah, fortunately, she did not bin my Kit Kats, and she did not eat my Kit Kats. So, Onyx had his Kit Kat. And I was very happy. Hey, it's my palace. I don't know how to palace. Though saying that, Lyndon, I have actually run out of Kit Kats, which is actually quite sad. Oh! Oh, it crashed. That's not happened in a while. The game crashed. Just relearning it now. I don't have a Kit Kat vault, but I probably should invest in one. A Kit Kat vault would probably be beneficial. You know what? There's something I regret getting rid of when I first stopped streaming. I used to have a mini fridge underneath my desk here, and in there I kept Dr. Pepper, Red Bulls, water, and Kit Kats. I miss that fridge. It was just perfect. Everything about it was perfect. I bet you can't wait to go back to university, Lyndon, can you? To be fair, that's the first crash I've had in every single stream I've done so far. When this mod first came out, it was horrific for crashing. It would crash every half hour. Though I am concerned that when I do my next playthrough, when I've got like 1,000 mods running, it's going to crash quite a lot. Always have a purpose again. To go all in. And I lost. Well. That's sad. We get it. You're still number one, Lyndon. Alright? We get it. I don't want to do that election night, but I feel like I have to. So what, Lyndon? I'll give you an opportunity, right? If you go all in, and if you lose, I will recover your points. I will give you your points back. But if you win, then you win. How's that sound? Oh, and a kiss. I swear, I will give you your points back, Lyndon. Will he do it? Will he do it? Will he take the gamble? Or will he wait a few minutes? No, I won't. Don't worry. I will give you your points back. I know how precious you are with those points.
Maybe I'll visit outside the walls sometime. See how the other half live.
Fancy a poster? Support your party to victory in the polls? Of course. There's an election on. Didn't you know? Last PM died at the tournament, so there's been an upset in Parliament. I heard Freddie Newell tried to step in to take control. Of course, Parliament wasn't having it. Can't
Double or
have a PM
nothing.
without an election first. It's just not done. Your party. You know. The party who best
You are not
represents you
McGentry.
and your interests in Parliament.
You've rigged the system, Lyndon. You have rigged the system.
Great. So, what do you say? Oh, we've got all sorts. We've got blue for the traditionalists, led by Freddie Newell. Bit daft, but they keep a steady hand on the rudder and all that.
I actually can't believe you won.
We've got yellow for the pragmatists, if you fancy a bit of change.
I think it'll probably be
Lynn
Tom
Moores is the
second.
leader, and she's committed.
The hardcore cheese on toast.
Or she should be, at any rate. And finally, we've got red. Stark raving mad, the lot. So, who...
We'll go red. Reformists.
Oh, you were serious? Well, what can I say? Any party that elects Charlie, that man, couldn't lead a... And? More
Right.
of the same.
I'll go traditionalist then.
Right? What? Popular participation.
I'm not
is the
sure.
cornerstone of our-
What, I'm not sure if there's even a leaderboard command. Is there a leaderboard? No, there's not.
Democracy.
Maybe I should get one made
Elections
so you can
don't
keep track.
happen if nobody knows about them. If you need more, I've got plenty.
I don't want more. Well, I haven't got a fucking choice of doing this quest, have I?
I do hope Father's proud of me.
In a hurry?
Very much so. Why are you hostile to me? What did I do to you?
There you are. Served my liege.
I don't understand why they're hostile. And it matters if you're number one. Nah. Lies. We'll go furthest away now. I don't like politics. I avoid it everywhere I can. But apparently I have to speed up the process, even though it's all rigged anyway. Like, we know who's going to win, so no matter what I fucking choose here, it's going to be, you know, my opinion is not going to matter. No, there's also a second game I can't wait to play either. I really can't wait to play Prison Architect on stream again. Because, you know, damn well sure I'm going to put you, Lyndon, in the prison. Oh, Tom's 6th! No worries, dude. I appreciate the lurk. Hope you're doing good. Who is second then? Probably Silliest Goose. I bet my missus is second. That's also quite a possibility. On the next loading screen, I'll check and see if there's some kind of leaderboard command. I'm surprised I can't see who's second. Yeah, I'm going the right way. I bet you it's either stream elements themselves, which, you know, is pretty naughty, or it's my missus. It definitely is an anarchist. I'm pretty sure he's last. In fact, no, Pingu's probably second or third. You can. You're very right, actually. I'll check on the next load screen. At least then it kind of gives us something to do then, on the load screen. You're not lost? Pingu second! There you go. There's the mystery of a second person. It's Pingu. Pingu is the second man. Nah, it's all about roulette, really, isn't it? We're just a bunch of gamblers. So who's third? Ah, okay, now we can see leaderboard. Oh, okay, it just gives you a link. I've not had a chance to set it up. I have it, just not have a chance yet. Sorry. Is he? So we've got Lyndon, Pingu, Rip. Yeah, see, Sidious Goose is 4th with 118,000. Doodle is 7th. Lyndon, I have all time. Oh! You went all in, and it paid off. See, all time, no, Lyndon. I have the most points. I have 262,000 apparently. But that's based on watch time. Nearly back. See, I'm gonna go all in now. I'm gonna lose it all again. I won. Well, no, see, I don't, because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't fix the game. I'm all about being fair and equal. And if anything, I'm pretty sure it's set in your favour. Look, alright? I am Welsh. I'm far from Welsh. Mr. German. You fucker! Break. Stop setting me on fire, you fuckers! Look. Look. Listen here, fella. You're gonna die. Listen here, bucko. I don't understand why the Cavaliers want me dead. I didn't do anything to hurt them. Not that I remember, anyway. We'll go to that market now. Correct, it is. And we're nearly there. I believe we are on the final act. Or part of the final act. And once we've done this, we're going to do the base Fallout 4. But I'll be splitting up the week, so I'll be doing 2 games. So I'll do 2 streams on 1 game. And then the other 2 days, like the longest days, will be Fallout 4. The other 2 games will be like 2-3 hours here and there. But what I'm thinking, well, if I'm torn, because the games I've got listed are Darktide, Foxhole, which obviously I'll have to do at one point, Fallout 4, all 76, and also Prison Architect. I don't really know what other games that you guys would want to see me play. I mean, if there's any games you want to see me play, feel free to suggest them. Because at the end of the day, no part. I don't really think it's stream worthy. I mean, I could always do it as like, a channel point redeem. Have a quick game on Puck. Which I could do, actually. Anarchist head puck. What we should do is a 1v1 against me and Anarchist. He will wipe the floor of me. I saw he streamed himself playing one day. And holy fuck, he is good. Anarchist needs to go touch grass. But you know, I am going to make that channel point redeem actually. I think that would be a great redeem. Why you shoot me from, you fuck?
Terminating with extreme prejudice.
You're invisible again! The fuck? This is unfair! Because I can't see you. Lyndon, I'm not even that good. I just fuck around and love fucking with you. But then there's you, literally holding onto the puck. That's not on. I mean, to be fair, Anarchist, I dread to think... Oh, I'm encumbered. I dread to think the sort of people you have to play with. I can only imagine them being absolute sweats. I do want to see you play competitively, to be fair. Because when you mentioned it to me, I was quite interested. Sorry, what now? There is a puck league, Lyndon. That's what Anarchist plays, or manages, or runs. I don't know. I can't remember. But I will, you know, I'm gonna set up a channel point. So for like every, let's say, 5,000 channel points. No tense folks, no poor people. Well, I don't qualify as any of them. Oh God! Now you've set off Lyndon. He is a slut for law. Is there a Discord for it? I kind of want to join it. I want to have a game against someone competitively. So I can either see how good I am or how shite I am. And my money's on how shite I am. Both. So I'm guessing you run the league through Discord. I presume so, anyway. That's the point. I need to get my fantasy team sorted for the rugby season that's about to start.
Hello. Engaging hostile.
Well, I say. There you are.
Fuck off.
I remain
Get fucked.
loyal.
What's up to your god? There should be a body here somewhere. Hello, he was legendary. Where is his body? Mr. Invisible Man. I can see your gun. I can't see you. Oh, I see what you mean now. I've never even heard of HQM. You have to download HQM from a Google Drive. That just sounds suspicious. You wouldn't catch me doing that. Fuck no. That is the most sketchiest shit I've ever heard. There's 1,700 people in this Discord? I'm telling Floki that. So Floki will get that link shut down. Either that or he'll hack into it himself. I'm joining this Discord. League info and registration. Bet. What's the rule book? Oh my god, there's loads of rules. Hall of Champions. But I'm going to apply to play this. I don't think they'll let me stream it. They might get annoyed. Maybe, I don't know. Who keeps track of all these stats, man? Well, soon there's going to be 2. Me and him, General TSO. Oh, you know, I'm going to take a look into that more deeper later. I mean, I multi-stream. I do it on TikTok and Twitch. Just, I cannot say the words Twitch on TikTok because apparently they whitelist you entirely from their algorithm. But to be fair, I can't even get approved to stream on TikTok, but they won't let me. I keep getting my access denied.
To announce the results.
You can. I was trying to set it up earlier because I had my main display, but I had a vertical display.
Probably happened while you weren't looking.
I just need to try and get it working.
Thank you for tuning in to tonight's Election Night special. We've just got the result from St. James Park, and it's a win for the traditionalists.
Way!
The Traditionalist Party have managed to hold the majority. We have Freddie Newell in the studio tonight to give a statement.
It is absolutely dog shit.
Yes, well,
but at the same time, though, you know, I know people who do much better on YouTube than on TikTok, than on Twitch. It just depends on what you play. Like Fallout 4 is one of those games where you're probably beneficial playing it on YouTube than Twitch. But I don't know. I'll probably try it. Probably not go very far, and I probably just won't multi-stream. So I also know that if you're not careful, Twitch will dock you, pay, if you multi-stream. I doubt it, Lyndon. I mean, hey, if I do, it's my calling. But put it this way, you thought I was great at Puck. I thought I was just okay. I played against Anarchist, and I'm nothing like Anarchist. Anarchist is a bully on Puck.
Firearms enthusiasts such as myself, and I've spoken with the former Minister of Housing about the homelessness problem. And I think we can be sure a solution is being worked out.
Thank you for coming to speak with us.
Wow. Which scares me. Watch me play a game and get absolutely schooled and booted out the Discord.
To be honest. Well, besides more of the usual traditionalist waffle. Well, that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, thrilling.
Well, even if it didn't go exactly how you thought, you can sleep easy knowing your contributions mattered. For the next couple of weeks, anyway.
Is it like a certain deadline to register on it?
Pleasure.
Streams. Well, just what I should do is make a big thing out of it. Get like a whole PHL overlay made with scoreboards on the top. You know, little effects when people score. That'd be hilarious. I haven't got the following for that though. Each session. Okay. I'm going to have to find out where the next date is. Okay, that's fine. I can probably do that then. Radio voice. What? I would be the voice of PHL. See, I'd want to be like those Brazilian and Spanish football commentators. We want to go absolutely crazy, but the minute it goes, it's like goal, 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 with some random long name. Oh, for fuck's sake! Of course you have. Oh wait, yeah, I've just realised you're part of the league operations. Hey, tell you what, could you get me on there? Because I'm very tech nerdy and very tech savvy. Hey, I've got servers here. I have 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 servers here. I can literally be your dedicated server host. Just putting it out there. You know, if you need Discord bots making, I'm your guy. Okay, fair enough. What can I do for them? Be the mascot. How about I endorse them in my Twitch? Will that work? If I endorse? I can't believe how in depth that PHL league is. Like, if you win the league, let's say you're like one of the best people in that league, what do you win? If anything. Like, do you win anything at all? Or not? Wait, some more steps. Hello?
Why the rush? Do you have somewhere to be?
I do.
God knows I don't.
I've got a PHL league to help. Don't mind me, just run across all your tables. I could potentially help you with this. What's your problem? I can't remember why I even asked Anarchist, to be honest with you.
I wish they'd privatize the government and be done with it.
As your father.
MCM.
They used to say.
I know. So what I asked was, is there anything that I can actually help out with? I'm curious. MCM. What's MCM? Is it Fallout related? Because MCM means Comic Con to me. Or do you mean the Skyrim mod? If it's the Skyrim mod, then I can't help you with that one, unfortunately. Nope, I can't help you, unfortunately. I don't really play Skyrim that often, unfortunately. Hope you're doing good though, dude.
And the daft buggers would still vote us. Huh. Listen, I'll have to call you back. I've got some governing to do. Absolutely. Winning an election makes you a pillory for the desk.
Okay, we're going all in. Hey!
people really need to start dealing with
Not really.
problems
Sorry,
themselves
sorry, I couldn't help there, dude.
instead of going straight to the Prime Minister.
What's it you trying to do? I'm guessing you are trying to mod Skyrim with MCM.
Well, that's different. You've demonstrated your worth to us. It's been noticed and greatly appreciated. Let's see. A surprisingly prominent position for Smythe. This all appears in order.
See, I'm just
I'll
waiting
get
for
things in
Pucks
motion
to become a massive
immediately.
esports thing, and
You
there's
can
a whole
tell
arena
our
dedicated to it
mutual
now.
friend that I'll
With
enjoy
prize money.
working
I know.
with them.
That's what I asked you, Anarchist. Like, is there a prize? Well, what is there a prize for winning a league? No, for for high league, low league, whatever league. That's what I asked you. The only thing I could suggest to get that mod working would be, do you have the Fallout extender scripts up and running? Because that's kind of the backbone fundamentals for all the mods for Fallout 4. Without that, a lot of mods won't work. Which I'm sure you do have that running. But what would the prize be? Does MCM have any dependencies? I can't remember if it does. So if it does, if there's some dependencies that aren't enabled, maybe, or updates. Nope. Then my money would be on a mod clash. Did it work before? Or is this an entirely new collection you're trying to set up? I've noticed there's been some Fallout 4 mods where I need to start a whole new collection and import stuff in a certain way. I mean, to be fair, doing a buy-in kind of thing for it, I think would be quite a good idea, actually. In that case, in this, I would probably say something's clashing with it, which is preventing it, or a mod's updated and it's causing a clash. If it was working beforehand and it's suddenly stopped working, my money is on a mod, not causing it to stopping it from working. That's a good point, Lyndon. That's a question for you, Anarchist.
Father is proud of me.
Are there leagues? Well, no, we know there's leagues, but are there like teams you do transfers in? That's actually a really good question, Lyndon. I didn't even think about that. Actually, a great question. A request to be transferred to the best team in the league just because I'm Onyx. Wait, can I form a team? If so, I want you, me, Lyndon. They would need to find 3 more people. No, not as the mascot. I'll be the cheerleader. They get more attention. Also, question. Does my camera area look more sharp than usual when I'm running around? I noticed last time that it was getting a bit pixelated sometimes at random points. Yeah. What if we get sponsored by fucking Red Bull or G Fuel or something?
Good day. If you're looking for Smythe, I'm afraid they're busy.
Smythe
But
is not
again,
busy for me.
You already know that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You take care of yourself. Be seeing you.
Not gonna force me to wear a bowl out this time? No? Oh. wait to be contacted by Smythe. I'm not important enough this time. Smythe does not want me to be in his office anymore. He's sick of me. I don't blame him. All this murdering I'm doing for him for free. Maybe I can make a Twitch team. Like dedicated streamers playing puck. Imagine getting dropped. Imagine missing an open goal and that causes you to get dropped. Very harsh. Speak to a courier. Where is the courier? No, I don't want to speak to you. Go away. You've seen worse. You've seen my gameplay. Oh, okay, you won't follow me. That's really annoying. I'd really hope you was going to follow me. Play a bit of cat and mouse.
Sorry to bother, Gav.
I mean,
got a letter for you.
You need to see how Lyndon plays. I don't think there's any worse than that. No offense, Lyndon.
Oh, I don't know. We stopped opening the post because they explode so often. Which reminds me, do me a favour and wait a sec before opening that. Tar.
To be fair, I think it's a really good game. I loved it. Oh. So I've done all this for him and I can't even go into a ceremony. Nah, Epi weren't too bad to be fair. You know what? Let's dress dapper. Oh, please do. Like, I still remember when, I don't know how I did it, but I sent Lyndon, I sent him one of my wonder goals. I still don't know how the fuck I did it. And he just looked at me and went, how? Why? I mean, I was very, very surprised that it actually went in. Have you sent it me? You have sent it me. Hold on, I want to... We're going to watch this together. Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck? How did you do that? Nah. 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 That's bullshit. That's ridiculous. That scream's fixed. They pull a hole in that net and only you knew about it. Oh yeah, I just was going to show, didn't I? We're going to show the class. Bear with. I need my man to fucking do this. We'll just display capture. Okay. We'll do that. Like, just look at this fuckery. You'll see it right here. Look, it just slides in the side. That's bullshit, man. That's some next level bullshit. I'd be pissed. I'll have to send you my little cheeky flick goal that I did. Because I was very impressed. You know what? You need to stream that. You need to stream your game. Like, the best you can do, Lyndon, is fucking just stay on my ass and try and steal my actual hockey stick. You don't go for the fucking puck anymore. You go for the stick.
Life at the top is immensely satisfying.
I thank you for this great honor, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Current events have forced me to act has become intolerable. Violence has spilled onto the streets of London. Even
If I see one more up-and-comer peasant,
Shut up.
I'll go mad.
are murdering each other. This has to stop. This must stop. This will stop. This is my promise to you. To combat this epidemic of violence, I will...
This is a nuke drop worthy moment.
It must be horrible to live in places without luxury.
Shut the fuck up, whoever's talking. That was you.
London depends on it. As such, I will be dissolving Parliament immediately. It's absurd to debate laws that you cannot enforce. Power will return to the people, as it always has in this country once.
Let me turn that music down, because that's really loud.
With humanity. Order has been restored. London is on the precipice, and we must fight.
What else was going to happen here?
We must unite, as we always have countless times past, to defeat this great evil. I believe we are more than equal to the task. God bless the people. God
Because I've not set it up yet. I will set it up just for you.
God bless the United Kingdom.
She really wants to hurt me. Well, Parliament has been dissolved. That's interesting. Martial law is in effect. That is very interesting indeed. Oh no, I was gonna do it for one cap.
What's that smell? Oh, it's you.
Who said that? Whoever said that, you're going to die? Okay, well. Yeah, martial law's now in place. Which just screams, I'm going to die very quickly. I guarantee you, Smile's going to fuck me over here. He's going to release some kind of information on me. The whole thing about me being in this failed experiment is now completely out of the window. You know, while we are waiting, actually, I'm going to see if I can find that video on me on Puck. Where did I send it? Did I DM it over to you, Lyndon? I think I did. Marshmallows get pancakes. What? It's just full of memes. Angry cats. You moaning at me. Some soup. We talked about some random shit. I can't find that video. Where would it have saved? Ah, a moment. Okay, well, I've actually got quite a few Puck videos here. See, I've got loads of Puck videos, actually. I just don't know which is which. That's just me fucking around. I will find that video. But if you can find it, Lyndon, send it back over to me. I can't remember if I sent it to you or Epi. Or even in Epi's Discord, maybe. Going all in. And I lost everything. I've got nothing left. Do 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 do. See, luckily everything backs up to one of my servers. Like everything. All my gameplay, of any game I play, gets recorded and saved on there. I've got like 100 terabytes worth of storage on there, so, you know, I'm not going to go through it anytime soon. Yeah, so you don't even have to ask me anymore. I just know where to go, bitch. Go all in. Do it.
I live in fear. No. Am I invisible? Or are you an invalid?
Can you
in a hurry?
move?
An important meeting, perhaps? Huh, I think not.
It's on the top secret channel. What's top secret channel? I have a top secret channel.
People have a negative attitude. That's what's stopping them.
Oh, the Foxhole channel I locked in my Discord. That one.
It seems I must delay our meeting once again. Urgent matters have been brought to my attention.
Okay, I'll find it in a minute.
Can't be handled, especially if you continue your excellent work.
Yes.
Are you ready to wrap up this situation?
I don't know, am I? I'm kind of scared to.
You can listen. General
Okay.
Asquith, a man loyal to a fault, no longer wishes to support the gentry. He claims they will only follow orders directly from the Queen herself. Given the state of things,
Don't ask me to kill the Queen.
obvious problem.
I don't think I can kill the Queen. Yeah, let's kill him.
Your proclivity toward violence, while appreciated, is premature.
Do it!
Replace him with someone actually reliable. Colonel George Major. Deliver him the appointment papers on my desk, and the bad news to the former general.
Why have I just got a message from a warden? I don't know what... Oh! It's the pipe people, anarchist. It's the pipe people. They've messaged me. What does he say? Because he's speaking Portuguese to me. I don't speak Portuguese. Portuguese. Which regiment? You just asked me what regiment am I in. You know my name. I'm the only one who's asked you. Least impacts? No. I'm not trying to sell pipes. I'm trying to get piped into petrol and heavy oil. Do you reckon it's a problem, anarchist, if we only pipe up petrol? Because the heavy oil, we can probably just deal with getting some. You know, we can fill up a full LTS. You know, it's not like it's far. Yeah, I like it, but I don't want to take the piss with them. No, because there's a whole language barrier, and it's a bit difficult sometimes in Foxhole, as you know. Oh, you went all in, and he won. Nice. Yes, he is Portuguese. You know what? I forgot about him. I've not seen him in ages. I need to drop him a message, actually, at some point. So you could probably expect some... Oh, hold on. What's he said now? Sim. What does that mean in Portuguese? Oh, this is the prime time what I could do with Floki, actually. Oh, no, I knew it was Portuguese. I've not seen him on... In fact, I've not seen him on many games full stop in a while. I mean, it's a long message he's typing. After all this, watch him just say, we're not doing it. If he says no, civil war. Blow up his pipes. What the hell is he saying there? I'm going to make a change to the pump till end tomorrow. I think you'll be able to connect tomorrow night. Here's how. Pour your pipe there. When it's ready, I'll connect. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, we have to go ahead. Cool, we're cooking. Right. Where is it I need to go to? Oh, okay. I'm literally... This is when they all turn against me, and I'm gonna die. There's gonna be a death here, Lyndon. I can sense it. I mean, to be fair, I have apologised to him that my Portuguese might be a bit rusty. Bethesda. It could be anything. But I'm glad you got it working, this. I'm sorry I couldn't be much use. I'm one of those people where if a mod doesn't work, I tend to just remove it and not use it. What does that say? It says, yes, so you need 2 pipes. Yes. Yeah, that's actually a common fix. I don't know why I didn't think of that. So it kind of lets the game reset all the config files, and then anything that was countering it would kind of go, you know, use this instead of this. So when you try and find the save games, you can point it to where that is now. Well, fingers crossed. I'm hopeful for you. What's he said here? What's he said here? He's asking about fucking M-subs here. Oh, don't know about this. Oh, yeah, we can do that. Right, I think we have a deal sorted. I think we're good, Anarchist. So in a day or two, he's going to drop me a message. I should say we've got pipes actually you can have. Let me just say that to him quickly. General, you're out of a job. Get the fuck out. Oh, that's the wrong door. General, you're out of a job.
Return to our sworn duties.
I agree, but I fear our definitions aren't aligned.
We are Her Majesty's, not some kangaroo courts.
That kangaroo court is Her Majesty's government.
A kangaroo court
General,
are the
we
Aussies.
blindly follow the gentry.
Hear, hear.
While Her Majesty remains absent, our duty is to the people.
They look to us for guidance.
Not for guidance, for peace, for stability.
He looks like Mr. Bean.
What the gentry promise.
They promise the moon, but have only delivered dust.
Excuse me? This is a closed meeting.
On him all. He does, doesn't he? He looks identical to Mr. Bean.
Ah, the pompous Petsy.
Oh, ignore General Asquith. What's the message?
You're out. I love that.
You will show respect.
Shut up, Mr.
I'm in charge. The Lord Chancellor has named me General.
And a small child outside named me Mary Louise Poppinstock. She has just as much authority to promote a Tommy as this trumped-up politicaster. We answer to the Queen, and the Queen alone. We will not accept commands from anyone but Her Royal Majesty. Do I make myself clear?
Don't make me kill you, please. Oh, we gotta go speak to Queenie. Go on, Churchill. I'm going to give you away to the Queen. I hope Prince Charles is there with his sausage fingers. Sorry, King Charles now. Am I going to run up? Am I fuck? But first, I'm going to steal some more ammo. Hope you don't mind. You don't need it anymore. What you got for me? You got goodies I can steal? Nope, you do not. I'm going to miss these trenches. Oh, what does that message say? I'm hoping it says, okay, I will give you a message, done deal. Onyx and Bone, you're amazing. Just, okay, thanks, I'll send you a message. Okay, that's very underwhelming. At least we'll take our pipes. That's a win. So I don't want to see those pipes ever again. Yes, without the and part. I'm not amazing, apparently. But the only thing he's asked for, Anarchist, is every now... Well, he said he wants to put a train line to the salvage field, which is fine. But I've also said that if he needs them subs and CMATs and stuff, we can throw some in every now and then. Not a problem. Because we should be making, you know, CMATs and fucking M subs out of our arse. Especially since we're on a field. Something else I was meant to do. Fuck, I forgot about that. I need to just watch that in the background. In case nothing goes tits up. What are you saying?
Previously had the island, but enjoyed it a lot this time. Respect. Or
Wait 2 seconds, guys.
just read them. Wonderful digital on it. Been through it all out for all out for they through it.
We won't go quietly. You
Shut
can
up,
count
you.
on that.
He's a good egg. Right, I'm back. I believe we're subbing in the MPF as well as the FAC. I mean, last time I checked, I think we had like 29k in all 3 buildings. Which, to be fair, is fucking brilliant. I was actually quite surprised at one point. But yeah, I've seen people MPFing, M subs and all sorts. But I'm not against MPFing M subs. I think it's a great idea. You know, because not only do you have some in the material factories, but you've also got some in the seaport. And as well, Anarchist, something I was meant to mention to you, if we can create M subs from the MPF and pull them in the crate transfer station in the base, that'd be fucking amazing. So I don't think you can create M subs from the material factories, can you? And pull them into that transfer station. I could be very wrong, and I probably am very wrong. Well, exactly. I mean, there'll come a point where you got to do M subs every day anyway. But if we get ahead of it now, it's just a case of topping it up every now and then, which isn't too bad. Oh, where have you gone? Are you there? I'm an idiot. Right, let's put that there in the corner. I think I now can watch that at the same time. Happy days. Right. I'm actually quite excited to meet the Queenie in this. I best get... I mean, she's probably going to order a hit on me on the spot. Get corgis to attack me. I'm all of this song. We're going to go all in. And I won again! That's twice in a row! Won't happen again now. Absolutely won't happen again. Turn that off. That's going to be loud otherwise. Go on, Pooch. Let's go meet the Queen. You best be on your best behaviour. No running off. My health is very low. That is the wrong way. I can never navigate these fucking sewers. My health really goes up really slowly as well. It's actually quite painful. I'm pretty sure it doesn't do that in Fallout 4. I know we've just surpassed tier 2. That's about all I know. I have not been paying attention to it much recently. I'm pretty sure tier 2 teched yesterday or the day before. I just remember Anarchist Anarchist and Matrix moaning at me to come on. No, not yet. You best contribute towards M subs, by the way, Lyndon. If I'm storing your crane, your BT. Oh, when's Big Train Tech, Anarchist? If you're still there, I'm hoping Train Tech is soon or next tech. Oh, okay, good. There's a guy from UCF who's making us a full train. I believe it's Refresher who I spoke to. I'm not sure if they've started production or where their production is. But if he's in, if he's in Terminus, it might be worth an ask. I did ask him to drop me a message, but he's not responded to me. Also benefit to get some coal in the FAQ as well. Just one resource container, 4 should be more than enough. I didn't realise there's one hell of a delay on my stream. Well, we're talking about like 10 seconds. It's your birthday? Anarchist! Happy fucking birthday! You fucker! You kept that quiet. Happy escape the wound day. And he won! Hold on a minute, we need to make a post about this. You can't tell me it's your birthday and we're not going to celebrate your birthday. It's fine. You can get a celebratory nuke as well. Maybe it's your birthday, you're not just saying that now. That would be pretty awkward. Oh, where am I going? I was going the right way. Have a birthday, cat. I can't believe you kept that quiet. See, yeah, that added on makes sense now. Anarchist is what we know. Is what we know as is a dinosaur.
Greetings, salutations, and what.
And what? Yes, rah.
Yes. They sent word ahead. Or did you expect Smythe to be uninformed? Please enter. The royal party is expecting you.
Enter Buckingham Palace. Let's go. Wait, what? Oh, I went the wrong way. Fuck. Get down, you maggots! Happy birthday, Anarchist. How old are you today? I hope you're older than me. I actually think you're younger than me by a year or two. I can't actually remember. "26. Ah, yes. You are much younger than me. Well, I'll say much. By 2 years. Lizards. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I just need to go get a quick drink. In the meantime, I want everyone to sing happy birthday to Anarchist. In fact... There you go, Anarchist. This is for you. Just for you, Anarchist. When I get a drink. You're getting all the happy birthday songs. I don't quite know what's playing. What's playing? Oh, this is a very nice rendition of Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anarchist 94. There you go. Hope your birthday has been made. What the fuck is moving? That's the Queen. And you got nothing on you. You're not very rich, are you?
Ah, I was wondering when you'd arrive.
I'm here now.
Our new Lord Chancellor, appointed without my awareness, I might add, sent word. How kind of him to inform us after the fact. Regardless,
yeah, I
he
realise
wished
that's
to
not the
speak with
Queen.
you directly about the matter. I'd recommend answering it.
Is it
He's rather
Smythe? I reckon it's
snippy when
Smythe.
you don't.
Hello. Vote.
You're about to have an audience with Her Royal Highness. You no doubt heard her screaming with excitement.
The Queen's a monster.
She's been feral for ages. But as a figurehead, it doesn't really matter.
This is going to be a death.
So long as she lives, in whatever state, her authority remains. So try not to kill her. It'd put a real damper on our relationship with the Tommies.
Oh, all in. Fuck, I lost.
Hardly. Don't let her age or station fool you. She's tougher than she looks.
I'm going to die by the Queen. The Queen's
Director
going to kill me.
Herbertson has the answer. In fact, you helped him with it. Speak with him.
Oh.
And the princess holds the key. You'll need that to let yourself in.
This could be quite interesting. Hello, Doctor.
It seems you find yourself in my employ once again. Your
Yes.
previous efforts, while brutish, proved quite fruitful in the long run. And today, you'll see exactly how. For this experiment, simply incapacitate the subject and administer the winning formula. Are you so daft that I need to explain your own... Whatever you do, just don't bruise her face. She'll... All action must be considered. Normally, I would control for all variables, meaning I would inject the subject in my lab under close scrutiny. But, circumstances as they are, you must...
Experimental serum. Okay, so
These
I
things,
can't
as
kill
you
her.
know, are so
I cannot kill her.
personal. I do not approve of Lord Smythe and their machinations.
But why?
In this regard, I must acquiesce. We have a chance to give something back to the crowds. With this key, we have a chance to give them back their queen.
Give me the key,
An
goddammit.
inspiration of confidence. Do treat her gently.
Yeah, but you told me I need to incapacitate her first. I'm a strong Grantley, for fuck's sake. Oh no, this is worth more with a quick save. Oh, Queenie! Oh, the corgis! This is pretty fucking traumatizing. Oh, look at the corgis. What the fuck? I have no melees. Oh, I've got a box cutter. I'll just slice her to death. Do you think she'll mind if I blow her head off? I don't think she will. Oh dear. Fuck. We hit the big 80. Well, I don't think 80 deaths is too bad, to be fair. Considering what you know, what this playthrough has been like, I don't think 80 is too bad at all. Oh, I have this. This will incapacitate her. Hello, Queen. Fuck. Don't mind me, Queenie. Just need to break your legs. Just need to break your legs. You don't need them anymore. Wait, do I need to... Wait, is it a gun? No, don't be slow now! Yeah, sorry, Queen. I didn't mean to obliterate you. Oh, I best hide my weapon, so I look innocent. Oh yeah.
Mother.
Your Majesty?
More tests will need to be run, but early indications point to a full success.
Truly?
I know, it's amazing.
It's like a fog has been lifted.
Have some heart. Give her a moment.
What comes next, we don't know. That's the beauty of science. We must observe and learn. But Lord Chancellor Smythe
Pretty cool,
needs
that.
a certain order signed. Her penmanship will be a perfect test for the efficacy of this formula, and a control for future studies on her progression.
I just need to sign this.
Yes, Mother.
And I will start preparing for your first.
Please just sign it. Don't send me on a quest.
Might be a bit premature.
Or it could yield the perfect data.
My mother is not your pet science experiment.
She is now.
Isn't she? She'll be in my care for the foreseeable future.
It is done.
Good. Now
Thank
leave
you.
us.
Ow.
There's much to study.
Life at the top is immensely satisfying.
Oh, look at little corgis. Cost. I don't want a Teton. Oh. Where you at, Queenie? Can I sleep in your bed? I can't sleep in your bed. How many people can say they slept in the Queen's bed? A jar of red liquid. How do you mean? I can't. That's a crime against the monarch. I can't do that. Wait, I'm seeing that though. Are you gonna play anything or?
Some talk of Alexander and some of Hercules, of Hector and Lysander, and such great names as these.
I can't listen to that anymore. It's actually quite annoying. That's a very annoying song. King bed is wider. I'm pretty significant more sleeping space. That's a very interesting fact, actually. But to be fair, though, Super Kings, though, what's that size? How big's Super King? In square inches. I know what it was, Doodle. I know fully what it was.
Nut.
Nutting! Hello, Rip. How's it going, dude? Hope you're doing good. You just missed me stabbing the Queen. No, I broke her legs, actually, is what I did, Lyndon. I made sure she could walk reasonably. Yeah, not been too bad, thanks, dude. My headache's gone now, which is nice. This, be honest with me, are you taking that straight from ChatGPT? I mean, I think this is a bit bigger than a fucking mace, if I can find it. No, I think that's a bit bigger than a mace. Google, fair enough. I mean, I only broke her legs with this. You know, nothing too serious. Yeah, but a mace is small. It's the same shape as a mace. It is amazing. Hey! The maces tend to be quite small. That's a double-hander, that. That's huge. It's that wide, you need two hands on it. Well, fire me, bro. There you go. If we're being technical about it, it's a flanged mace. Thank you, anarchist. Hey, this. I'm all for dad jokes. I love dad jokes. The cornier, the better. What? I was not expecting that in the slightest. Amazing. Was it you who said something about your ex-wife or something the other day? Like, one of the Thames folk looked like one of your ex-wives. Or ex-misses. I'm sure that was you. That was funny. Very unexpected. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Because that caught me off guard as well. General! Oh, fuck. Your time has come to come off the front. I love how I look like a Peaky Blinder now as well. Has it gone a bit south since, Lyndon? I mean, let's leave that as that. That's all I'm going to say. I want to steal shit. Let me steal something.
I wish I could meet the Queen.
If you've returned with more drivel from Smythe...
Nope, I've returned with a note from the fucking Queen, you arsehole.
Brash and abrasive. Your mother would be ashamed she raised one so callous. What am I without my post? There is truth in your words, painful as they've been.
Don't be too horrible to him.
Take my leave of you now. I must attend to my belongings and find new quarters.
Yes, fuck off. Where'd he go? Listen up, maggots!
My fellow Tommies, I stand before you as your new general. by the orders of Her Royal Highness and with the full support of the gentry, I have
You'd
been
have to be
tasked
insane
with
to
ensuring
take on the
Blighty
Tommies.
remains at peace. I cannot do that without each and every one of you. We cannot waver. We cannot yield to fear. There is chaos out there, yes. The streets are more dangerous than they were yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask.
We
at
are
all.
no strangers to danger.
But what I am going to do is I am going to remove that message because that's a bit too far. The only way to do that is to time it up for 1 second. To give me 1 sec. But no, I can't actually.
Death
Never
or
mind.
glory, Tommies, death or glory.
But yeah, let's
Those are our options.
let's stop the conversation now while we're ahead.
Let us choose glory. Let us bring the Queen's peace to the
I
Palace
don't have an opinion
so
on that
they
message.
May all feel safe. Go, march, stamp out that chaos, and restore order. This is your city, as much as mine. Make her a place fit for us all.
I didn't say I approved or denied it.
Mind the gap and all that.
That's crossing T's done.
Hello. Hey, you must be the Civion who General's looking for. Someone's on his personal line asking about you. Says it's urgent.
Yes, let's talk about what's everyone's favourite pies. Since Lyndon, you made that crumble earlier.
God save.
I was wondering how long it would take that servile buffoon to find you.
Long live our
Fuck's sake, this.
Now we talk.
Let's leave that now.
Good work with the Tommies, but we'll have to delay our meeting further, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know I did, but
Really
we're
put an
leaving
end
the
to
part.
this
We're leaving it
rebellion.
now.
We need
That's
unity,
something.
a common goal. Without that, violence only begets violence, and we want a monopoly on it. That goal is born from fear. A manufactured enemy will cow them into obedience.
I do love a cheesecake.
Who is the wrong question?
What sort of cheesecake though? Because I'm a sucker for a lemon cheesecake.
Simply put, this enemy
You want a
will
pole
seek
for
to undermine
baked of goods.
safety and security of
I
all
don't think that would work.
The best lie has a grain of truth, after all.
In fact, I want to know what birthday cake
Where the
Anarchist
genius
got.
of my plan takes fruition.
That's what I want to know.
Our enemy shall be called Angel.
Spill.
You see, we've taken bold steps, you and I, to get to this position.
What's your preferred baked list? Baked good list.
Begun to spread.
Yes, that is a good shout.
But
This.
it's too late.
That's a class
We
shout.
already control everything, and they don't even know it. In fear of Angel, the people shall submit to it.
What quest are we on now?
Now is the time, my dear friend, to catapult Angel onto the national stage. Go to Land's
I
End
do.
Inn
I
in
am a
Peckham.
sucker for a
Your
Kit Kat.
luggage will await you in room 5.
In fact, no, I'm not a sucker. I'm a slut for a
Be
Kit Kat.
seeing you.
I love a Kit Kat. Travel to Land's End in Peckham. We're definitely getting there now. We are definitely getting there. Up, 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 up. I just love cheesecake. Cheesecakes and cheese. Like even cheese, I love.
Good job out there. Stop.
And I'm
running
just
around
waiting for Tom to come back now and start naming cheeses. So we'll literally sit and talk about cheese for ages. Like, I even went and bought him cheese straight from Amsterdam. Where the fuck's this thing? Out there. Actually, we need to go back to that bank as well. Oh, still imported. I imported it from the country in my hand luggage. Delivered it to Tom. See, apple pies, they're up there. Apple pies and custard is up there. But personally, I love like some kind of berry, like berries in a pie. Not like, I don't know, like blueberries or like a mixed fruit kind of, like a mixed foresty thing with cream. Also strudels. I love a strudel. I just love food, man. I really want to buy a smoker. You technically smuggled 20 bottles of wine from Greece. I can't even imagine Greek wine being that nice. See, you say that. Cadbury's is top tier, mate. Cadbury's is fucking delightful. I do like Cadbury's.
This is gonna be fun. Oh shit!
It's gonna be fun for me. Let me hit you! Hello! Oh fuck. No, you can't kill me. Oh, that does sound really good, this. That sounds really good. See, I love cheese, but nowhere near it as much as Tom. Tom's a cheese fiend. Get fucked. I'm an idiot. I did not reload. Surprise! I'm pretty sure I've seen that before, that cheese. And it did sound really good.
Still kicking. Jesus.
Sure. I just love all cheese. But you can't go wrong with a nice smoked cheddar. Like, even a smoked cheddar absolutely slaps. Oh, halloumi is just next level. Like a proper Greek gyros. Now we're talking. Also mozzarella. I fucking love mozzarella. I just love cheese, man. Like, you just can't go wrong with cheese. Any cheese. No, surely not. It's hard to beat a good old-fashioned cheddar. Making me hungry now. But I wouldn't even know what to start with food. About one cheese though. No, but I do absolutely love brie. Brie and bacon. That's just next level. Like a brie and bacon and chili jam sandwich. Absolutely god tier. It's godlike. Ow. I've got no peppers there. That coffee hot. Sober. I want that.
Good day.
Blue
to
cheese.
ya.
He means Stilton. Stilton's godlike as well.
Good day, Mrs. Fitzwilliams. Then I say, what can I do for you? And then you say that line. Manners will get you far in life.
Delicious.
I just had Henry bring your luggage up. Here's
Absolutely
your key.
delicious. That's what it is. There's a cheese. There's a market in Tamworth. I think that is it. Tamworth. It might be Tamworth. In Birmingham, pretty much. And there's a guy there who sells what's called brain cheese, and it's literally this cheese that is just completely. It's completely mouldy. Like the outside of it is all furry, and it's meant to be like a really rich taste. I don't think I personally could eat that. Because that's a bit too far for me.
Good day to you. You'll find your luggage safe and secure in your room.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a pleasant stay.
You're very welcome. No, you're all good. What's in the suitcase? What's that? Nah, you're all good. I ate it too. What if I'm being called a field agent now? Angel Flamer damaged long barrel. That's a long word. Don't know why I need that. And falsified documents. I'm corrupting the government. I think. Oh, was that a gun I picked up? Spicy time. No, I went the wrong way. I'm an idiot. See, that sounds like a great idea. See, any school trip that I went on, that was like, 2-3 weeks. We weren't allowed to bring anything like that with us. They were really, really strict on it. And to be fair, I am also a sucker for a white monster. I love me a white monster, but at the moment, it's this stuff I'm obsessed with. It's just water, but it's carbonated water. Well, this one's just carbonated lime water. Yes, white monster. The sugar-free one. I mean, to be fair, actually, the only other one I like is the Aussie lemonade. The Aussie lemonade one's quite nice as well. The white one's fucking amazing. What are you on about? That's very toxic. I mean, I also am a sucker for coffee. Like, who wasn't a sucker for coffee? What do you mean was? It still is. Or can you not buy it anymore over there? Say, don't monster shame. Oh, that's a babble offence, this. See, the Mango Loco one, I find... oh, that's a lot of people. Burn down the settlement? What? No, I don't either. That's why I drink this liquid death instead. You know, good old-fashioned water. Can't go wrong with it. I need to kill people. I feel like I need to hide my face. I've been ordered to kill all these people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My orders are orders. This is well tight. No, this is what I was doing, Smythe. I didn't realise they were sending me on a fucking death mission. I feel well horrible for doing this to these guys. I'm sorry. It's well tight. Oops, probably shouldn't stand too close to that. I'm literally being an anarchist right now. What used to be Angel Flag? You got it. I don't want to, but I haven't got a choice.
I've got movement. You there. What's happened here?
I don't know.
Angel. I've only heard whispers.
Devastating.
That must be their flag. But why Peckham?
We've got little peckers.
Targeting the quiet places. Nowhere's safe anymore. But why do you know so much?
Would you like to know?
The double agent carried all this incriminating evidence they didn't need. This is all too confusing for a grunt like me. Follow me. We've got a runner.
Oh, fuck.
It's a mistake of your mind.
Yeah, go on, kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Not quite like that. The Death Court is pleased. baby, burn! I mean, White Monster used to literally be a staple to wear for me at my old place. But if I didn't have a White Monster, there'd be chaos on the shop floor. But we had a White Monster wall at the end of it. But I'm glad you approve of me. I do like to think that I'm an okay individual. I'm going to die. Fuck. Eat all the cookies. I'm just a pyromaniac. It's very different to me. Ow. Fire goes ouch. I can't actually relate because I've never actually been to Peckham. I know of Peckham, never been. Oh, poor guy's missing a leg. I will take a bag of cement though. That will be useful. Oh, Churchill's on fire. Right. I need to level up my charisma. There was one of these where I didn't have enough, so I'm going to have charisma. But we'll also take a Dexy. Yes, absolutely. I am the cement thief. Would you like to know?
You there. What's happened here? Angel. I've only heard with targeting the quiet place. This briefcase has everything. Plans, notes, diagrams. You've been through quite the ordeal. Come. We'll take you somewhere safe.
Thank you.
Right then. Follow close. We'll keep an eye on.
Hey! I must be quite sad when we end this. I've really enjoyed this Fallout playthrough. I'm very excited for the next one. I'm very excited. Mariachi! Who's eating next good food?
I'm Lieutenant Morgan, by the way. Thank you for all your help.
You're welcome. Correct, it is, yes.
That's all any of us can do.
Well, it'll be Fallout 4
Take your time catching your breath. You're a hero after all.
So
This is the lead.
What it's going to be is going to be the Fallout 4 extended story mod. So it's pretty much Fallout 4. Yes, I have. But I mean, to be fair, though, they're only not safe for work because of the because it's not actually anything bad, to be honest with you. It's all just cosmetic stuff. That's funny.
Least we can do.
That's funny. But I bet you wouldn't say it in London. Yes, so I'm pretty sure I sent you the list already, haven't I, Lyndon, to the next playthrough. Spin Doctor. But yeah, I am looking forward to that playthrough. I really am, because that's going to last us quite a while. And the fact that the settlement system has been overhauled as well means that we can spend time doing settlement building. It's fine. This is your Fallout virginity we're taking as a community. I'm not going to fucking go through the mines, the sewers this time, because can't be asked. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed this playthrough of Fallout London. I've made smart choices. I've made stupid choices. It has been really fun. All the dad jokes. Well, no, 81 deaths in how many hours? So what I'll do is I'll have to reset this counter, unfortunately. But other games I play, like Darktide, for example, or any other games where I can add in a death counter, there'll be a list. No, because it reads it from the Twitch API. So whatever game I'm playing on my category, that's what it reads it as. And I don't think Fallout London is a category yet. I could be wrong, but no, it's not. Fallout 4 is just Fallout 4, unfortunately. Maybe. I'm not too sure. I might be able to. But because I know where certain bosses are as well, I will change this so when there's a boss fight, and when you screw me with using melee only, that will change to a boss icon instead, with a timer, and also how long it takes me to kill him. How many tickets do I have? I've not looked for a while. Oh, 923. Not many at all. Right, Smythe's office. We will go back down there. Haven't got a bowler hat, so. The death court would like to see preserved. This death counter, I mean, what I'll do is I'll put in a death counter in my Discord as well. So I'll keep a log of what games I've played. Because certain games, like I said, I can't try. Like Fallout 4 only works in the category Fallout 4, so I'll have to reset this. But I'm sure there'll be a way to add one in manually. I mean, I'll try. But have you enjoyed this playthrough, Lyndon? Because I thoroughly have. I've heard of that one before, actually. I've heard of that joke. What I should do is do a joke redeem, where a little pop-up comes up and tells a joke. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, Pingu. I really have. Lyndon, that's good, really good to hear, mate. I'm really happy that you've enjoyed this playthrough, because I thoroughly have enjoyed it. Yeah, I know. And, you know, even now, I sincerely apologise for starting it, dropping it entirely, falling off the face of the earth. But I came back. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I can sense your sarcasm there. But I do hope that you have enjoyed it, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I bet you, Leah, have thoroughly enjoyed the peace and quiet downstairs. Did you? When did you prophesize that? Because I do not recall. Like I said, I've never done the Nuka World DLC. I have all the DLCs, but I've always stopped at a certain point. So I'm excited to do Nuka World. I really am. He's just got shit users like myself. Shit streamers. My money's on Doodle. Doodle probably predicted 80 deaths. I mean, I'm confident it's going to stay under 100. Unless I get absolutely side-shafted by a big final boss, which is very likely. But people do like a death counter. It was a bit of a bitch to set up, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
London's burning.
Yes, it is.
Glory, I enjoy further destruction of my city, mind you. But this puts us a hair from victory. You did well, I must say.
I mean, very true. Very true.
Troopers a yarn, and they believed it.
Though, to be fair, I have had my fair roasting on stream a few times.
Alas, the most important work is yet to be done. We spin the story on every telescreen, every radio, and every loudspeaker.
I love corruption.
I've already sent out troopers to consolidate key positions. BBM, Crystal Palace, and Hackney Radio.
BBM? Blackberry Messenger? No, that in ages.
Go to the broadcasting house. That is where we shall put on the show of a lifetime.
I don't. However, it's probably worth mentioning that I only started streaming about 3 years ago. In fact, it's 3 years ago this month, in September.
Most will fall into line once those stragglers.
Travel to the broadcasting house. So, I don't actually remember what the FOLON meme is. Oh. Oops. Sorry, I'm too busy corrupting the government to do anything else. You know what I love to play as well, actually, come to think of it, but I'm struggling to find a game like it. I'm trying to find like a grand RTS like space management game kind of vibe. Like, part of me kind of wants to play Anno on the stream because I love Anno, and it's one I could just sit and play for hours and hours and hours. But Anno isn't everyone's cup of tea. It's got a very precise market. Ah, that I did not know. I didn't know that, actually, this. You did hear space and management game. Mate, Factorio would consume my life. You're moving. You're not really a statue, are you? Oh, okay. Not been there before. I haven't. I want the Space Age DLC, but I refuse to pay £30 for a DLC. It's so expensive. Hey, if we want an Onyx OS Factorio community service spun up, I will make one. If there's enough interest in it and people will run it, will play on it, I'll happily set one up. Anarchist, can you recommend any like grand space management games, if you know of any? I did try Stellaris, but that is very intense. Stellaris. Oh, absolutely. It'll have to be done when I'm streaming for like 2 hours max. Like there was a time before I had my current Steam account, I amassed more hours on Factorio than any other game by about 5,000-6,000 hours. Like you think it's bad when I've got like 3,000 hours in Foxhole. Triple it for Factorio. I was obsessed. But then that obsession switched from Factorio to Anno 1800. I think Anno 1800 I've got borderline the same now. Mate, the entire world was one big fucking factory with so many trains. There was so many trains I had running. It was just ridiculous. You had me at Star Wars Anarchist. Please send me a link to the Export into Worlds game and that Star Wars mod. I beg. See, I really want them as well to release. Do you remember in the old school Star Wars Battlefront 2 on PlayStation 2 and Xbox? They had the Galactic Conquests when you can go like you've got the entire universe and you start in one, then you go around like you can go into space battles, ground battles, and they last about 45 minutes to an hour each time. That was so much fun. But for the life of me, I cannot get Battlefront 2, the OG version, working on my computer. I think it's because I have an ultra-wide monitor and it does not like it. Sent. I will take a look momentarily. Now 105 words with interplay and logistics. I haven't played with the else myself, but I know a bit. I did pick up Total War. Was it Attila? I picked up recently. I had a bit of a throwback earlier. Yeah, I bought Total War Attila, Empire, Napoleon, and Rome. Because I felt a bit nostalgic, and they were like £1 each. And I've forgotten completely how to play it, which is annoying because I used to love it. New skin. See, that would be funny if I said foreskin. I do like Total Wars though, but I can't remember how to play them. I need to spend a while trying to learn them again. How many DLCs are there for Interworlds? Where's my dog? Not to be seen. What's this? I don't know. Empty building. That's where I need to be. Now I'm getting the itch to... See, if someone... Any devs... No one will ever hear me say this, but if any dev wants to remake... Battlefront 2, the old school style, but modernise it, I will love you forever. Oh, so it's quite a modern game. Oh, they're new. Don't know who they are. Who the hell are Roundheads? Oh, fuck you and your spicy cocktail. Oh. Fuck. Have some of these, you little fucks. You know what? Looking right gangster with this. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot about this. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. I like this shotgun so much. No, just a very explosive shotgun. That I can kill myself with accidentally if I'm not careful. When did it first come out then? Because I searched above and beyond for, well, for a game similar to that. So I might have come across it on Steam. I might have it wishlisted. Is it multiplayer? See, I'm not even against that. Even if it's not multiplayer, I'm happy. It's one of those games I can just sit on for hours and, you know, I'll blink and it's 6 hours gone past and I'm happy. See, I'm surprised there's not even a mod for it. Did you send me the Star Wars mod as well? Or did you only send me the game link to X4? I really hope it is what I'm thinking of. There's quite a few ranheads here. What the fuck? Okay, cool. Thank you. Surprise! That's naughty. You shouldn't have that machine gun. That's mine. Bye bye.
Reveal yourself. Did you hear me? I said reveal.
You said what? Oh fuck. I don't know why I'm using that gun though so much, because this I have so much ammo for now. Surprise! Hurt my dog. I hurt you.
Hmm?
Don't stim pack, that's cheating! No, naughty! Slice their head right up like a melon. And a good luck all in. And I won! Huzzah! Hello.
You people always have to cause trouble.
What do you mean, my people?
Right, you're finished.
That's not a nice thing to say.
You hide because you have no conviction.
That's not true at all. You hide because you're a coward. Oh, wait, what? What the fuck are you? Glitch, that's where you are. Looty looty. Because I'm a loot goblin. Oh, I've still got that. I didn't know that. Am I stuck? No. Yes, I was. I was very stuck. Get up, you fool! What did you have on you? No, nothing useful. Any goodies? That's a fire, not caused by me for a change. What you got? Shotgun. 32. I don't care about any of that. Any safes? No. Okay. You have nothing I want. Up we go. What did you have? Nothing of use. I will take that though. Anybody in here? Oh, I don't know how Dexy in me still. I must admit, that's quite a brutal bit of murdering though. Oh, there's a head here just sprawled around the floor. What do you have? Nothing useful. Still waving at me. Was a light bulb. What do you have? Hello. Oh. Newspaper. Holy fuck. Why can't I take those tickets, man? That's bullshit. That's broadcasting room. It must be. What's in here? Any goodies? Fuck. Always handy. Bit of dog food. I like that. Hi, bear. Any goodies? A landmine? I'll take that. See, I keep finding 2mm. It gets me excited because I want to have a ghost rifle so badly. Wait, how do I get upstairs then? Oh. Okay. There's clearly a lift. Well, I completely disregarded.
Going down.
Oh, I thought we were going up. Okay, I'm on them.
4.
What? 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. Hello. Ah, hello, researchers. Anything I can steal? Anything for the loot goblin? Tickets, tickets. I'm happy with tickets. I'm still very secure. Oopsie daisy. How much is X for, Anarchist? If you know, that is. I can already hear myself escaping to that game for quite a while. Don't mind me just stealing stuff. Okay, I'll be able to find some on it for CD keys then probably. I hope anyway.
No, I will not. I won't do it. The whole thing's quite ridiculous.
You have no choice in the matter.
I have free will, don't I?
Not really.
Do you want to fuck with me?
Like I told your apathetic friend here, I am not directing this production.
There you are.
Not anymore. You people have gone too far. This script is the biggest load of hogwash I've ever read. It's propaganda. Plain and simple. I will not put it on air.
Yes.
Goodbye. What? No! Will they remember me?
They listen to me. I love how we were once enemies, but now we're all best buds. It's great. Oh, do I not?
Very unfortunate. His compliance was expected.
Yeah, well, it wasn't.
We'll have to direct the broadcast. Here's the script our dearly departed friend had so many objections to. Feel free to give it a read. It has two parts, cast by Smythe. First of all, there's the newsreader. He'll be played by radio presenter Robert Maxwell Jones.
Okay.
Secondly, we have the fictitious angel reader, Theodore Francois. He'll be played by the impressionist and failed actor, Dickie Anderson. Maxwell Jones is on his way. Here's his last note.
But now I need to go and find someone again. Let's go down. Oh, I've seen this. Wait, what the hell does the Star Wars pack do for this? Is it just reskins? Oh, the screenshots look awesome already. Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy that. It's a good thing the missus is getting back to see the combination soon. sign me on. Fine by me. It looks really good. But really, it's just exactly what the devs did to this. Just completely changed the entire thing. How big is the... Wait. How much would it be with all the DLCs? Yeah, sorry, Goose. But Anarchist has shown me a new brain rot game. Don't you can blame him. Fuck me. How much of a DLCs individually? No, I'll make sure it's Kit Kat money. I mean, to be fair, Pingu's been very generous over the past few weeks, and Pingu has funded my Kit Kat honey jar. Yeah, see, I reckon I could probably pick it up for about $10 on CD keys. Hey, Cat Dad, welcome back, dude. Hope your meeting was all good. Now, all good. I appreciate your luck. I appreciate your presence. Where's that gone? There. It'd be so nice to have fast load screens. Let's go, Sunny. Let's go get on the tube. I went the wrong way. I'll probably put my weapon away. Get on the tube. Oh, we're going deeper down. Yes, mechanics.
Maybe I'll visit outside the walls sometime.
Maybe you will not. See, I still love the whole... They have the whole tube system. I think it's brilliant.
Shadow are you? I'm mortally serious. Leave me alone at once.
You must come with me.
Well, it's too late for that. I've already made up my mind. Whole world's gone to shit. I'm the only one who can see it. Society is collapsing around us, and I won't be here when it happens. So I've packed my bags and I'm going.
No,
I
you're
haven't
not.
worked in months. I'm 6 weeks late on rent, but now you want to give me a job? No, it's far too late. I'm moving on to greener pastures. I've just explained why. Though I also have reasons of a fiscal variety. But your money won't help. My landlord's a troll.
I'm in touch with humanity.
Oh, I will happily beat up a landlord. With fucking pleasure. That's further down. God, these are just as confusing as the real tubes. Fuck. I want to go up.
It must be horrible to live in places without luxury.
Is this the way out? See, even the tubes IRL scared the fuck out of me. I remember I went to a rave with one of my old mates in where was it? Brixton. And we're trying to navigate the tubes. It was the first time I'd gotten the tubes on my own.
Immensely satisfying.
And we were running for a train, and he got on there just before me. And obviously the train fucked off, and there's no signal in the tubes or whatsoever. Oh no, only the tubes in London, because there's fucking all sorts. Well, if you're not careful, you'll end up on the other side of London. But the only good thing about it is, even if you do miss your stop, it's just one big loop. There was no signal underground. They have Wi-Fi, but it's shocking Wi-Fi. And it's expensive to take the tube now. It's really expensive. I thought that kid was the landlord then.
Yes, what is it? Do you have any idea how much... This house is worth at least 2 million tickets. And even then, I shan't part with it. I'll take my... What? No!
Why are you just standing there like a lemon? You're fucked. Hey, oh. I'm taking your suit. Fuck you.
I do hope Father is proud of me.
Same here. Same here. I need to just nip some blue quick. I will be 2 seconds. I mean, I wasn't going for a poo. Going for a quick whiz. To be fair though, I used to have VR back screens, starting screens and all sorts. Maybe. Why, so you mean like when I return that plays? I'd probably do that. No, I can't take your mastery, Lyndon. Your mastery is just, you know, next level. It puts my design skills to shame. No, I am planning on getting my overlays back how they were, because I used to have like a starting screen when I'll have like a counter for 5 minutes while I got shit sorted in the background. I just need to fuck around with aspect ratios again, because I'm streaming on a big monitor now, not a small one. Wait, did I die?
I heard altercation with old Chubbentag. I can only assume his house is now mine. Good.
Yes.
I'll stay. What's this
yours.
job you've got for me?
I need you to help me fix the government, or break the government.
After all those rejections, they come crawling back. Very well. I'll head there straight away.
Yes, you should. Or I will kill you. To the studio! I'm not fucking tubing it, though. There's literally no point. Like, it's right here, man. Are you really asking me to take the tube when it's just up there?
If I see one more up-and-comer peasant, I'll go mad.
You'll go mad? No. No. Oh. Oh man. Oh, I went the wrong way. I suppose you've not had a blunt yet, Lyndon. Paint is the worst software around. I hate Paint with a passion. Though then you get those guys like Pirate Software, who literally does everything in Paint. Because apparently it draws people's attention when you're doing stuff on screen. Which probably does. Ding dong.
Going up.
You're the director, I take it.
I am.
It is good to be back in work, but work requires payment. Payment I haven't received. So, let's say 1,000 tickets.
How about you
Nice
just
and
fucking do
even.
it? You do, and to be fair, you make very good memes.
I don't think so. Yes, yes.
Oh, he won! Where's the technician gone? It's a technician.
What a ghastly man. Shame we need him.
I need 1,000 tickets.
I don't have the money. You'll have to improvise. Perhaps intimidation will do the trick. Kill that manservant of his. Put fear
See,
in
you've
him.
not sent me many memes recently.
Do you have my payment?
You gotta wait 60 seconds first. If I say kill him, can I this is turned into a right murder fest? I love it. We haven't interacted much recently. You've been to every single one of my streams. How should we kill him? I reckon with this thing. Hey, look, you see your friend here? He's about to die.
Did you do that for?
Because you
violent
wanted
thug.
caps.
I knew I shouldn't have come here. I suppose I'm next, am I? Fine. I'll do this damn job.
Dig it down well, Will. I'm going to wear a monocle now. And a bowler hat. But yes, I am the definition of sophistication. You should be able to now.
Now that Maxwell Jones has been dealt with,
But I don't think you'll win back to back. That's just my guessing.
To record the show. Yet broadcasting it would be impossible. Those thugs, the Roundheads, caused quite a bit of damage in the studio. I've repaired most of the equipment, yet the telescreen transmitter circuit has given up the ghost. You need to find a new one, and as soon as possible. My best guess would be the old LT broadcast tower in Camden. Good luck.
Exactly. You know, it's gambling. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Oh, stop telling me to go get shit, man. Where's this transmitter? Oh, it's out, or Westminster. I'm going on a murdering spree again. Gearing it up. Oh, all down. Get some food in me. Don't mind me. Well, I bet I won't win. Fuck all. Yeah, so you're not the only one, I guess. I want Silliest Goose to do it. See, I'm also surprised Lyndon hasn't forced me to use melee either. It's been quite nice to me today. Well, has the Death Court been pleased for now? What is this song? I mean, that's just a given. She takes no shit. For now. The time will come where you will decide to screw me over. When that will be, no one knows yet. Though we've not had a death in a while though. So we are due a death soon. I did my 20 hours, well, I did 20 hours in a weekend. I did 12 hours on the Friday, and then I did the 8 hours on the Sunday. I'm not cut out for 24 hours, I don't think. I mean, hell, if you... you're going to hold me to that now, aren't you? Maybe I'll do 24 hours on the next Fallout 4 playthrough. See, Doodle, I'm expecting it now to come up just to slap me. 24-hour puck would kill me. It would be absolutely horrible. I can't even imagine 24-hour puck stream. My God. Don't encourage her. Please don't slap me. I beg. They may. No, not we. You would be the torturer. What am I getting XP for? I'm not doing anything.
What? I think I see our lunch.
I don't think you do. Ah! No! No! God damn it! Oh. That was painful. That was horrible! What do you mean, God, thank you? This is horrible, man. I hate those naval walkers. With a passion, I hate those naval walkers. You hate me, Lyndon. You straight up hate me. What have you sent me? See, that's the sort of shit I love. Lyndon has just made the best GIF. Oh, Lyndon, he had to post those in the Discord. Oh god, that was really funny actually. But if you want to see, if you want to see what it is he made, take a look in the Discord. Whack him in memes if you want. Yeah, whack them both in. Then what I might do is I might set up a channel point for memes. Like memes you made about me playing this game. Or just playing any game. Because that's hilarious. I was love how well you've given both POVs. You've given my POV of killing the Queen. I didn't kill the Queen, I crippled her. But then also her perspective of me crippling her. Oh, you lost 1,000, Tom. Come on! You are the meme man. Go all in, Lyndon. Do it. Do it. Do it. Right, note to self. There are big blowy uppy things. Why am I getting XP for jumping over a fence? What about second attempt? Don't go down there. There's those naval walkers.
I've got a lamb rat.
Hello. Hello.
You're messing with the column. You just signed your death warrant.
I don't think I did. I think you signed yours. An attack. Wait, how long for?
Savor the lead of the column, Toff.
You bully me. For 5 minutes? God damn it. This one, you got a fresh timer. You hate me, Doodle. Oh, I can't attack, can I? I was in the middle of a fight. At least now I know that I can't attack them so I can run past them. I just need to remember that those naval walkers are also there. And they will fuck me. Oh, I'm going to lose everything. Yeah, I knew that was happening. Oh, I didn't even quick save up there, man. You know what? I'm going to restart your timer. And I'll set a new one when I spawn in. So I think that's fair. At least then you get a full 5 minutes of me. But no, we'll say a minute. No, not a minute, 4 minutes. Unless that's 4 minutes, I'll let fucking die. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da-da. I've just seen that photo that Berg put in Discord. That's funny. Alright, now we'll set the timer. Wait, no, I can't attack. Where's that fucking sober? Don't mind me. Oh, fuck you.
Who?
I can't attack anyone, I'm sorry. I've just used my fucking addictol. You motherfucker. I wonder if I could be addicted too. He's doing it to fuck me up. I wish I can get addicted to Nuka-Cola. I haven't got enough of anything to get addicted to. I did say that. Ow, spicy. Where's the fucking door? I did nothing, it played. I heard it, I heard it clear as day. No, so if someone else does it now, it'll be different. But if I do it, no, same voice. I haven't changed it, I don't think. It should give you a different quote now. See? I can't attack! Fuck! I can quick save. Go away! Go away with your big bladed article. I've got a minute and 40.
We'll hang you on a lecky pole.
No, you won't.
With a nice sign and all.
Go away. Leave me alone. I don't think I've changed it. Well, fine. I'll check afterwards.
You're messing with the column. You just signed your death warrant.
Doodle, I hate you. Ow, fuck, wrong button. Fuck, ow. I can't hit you. Oh, fuck, that's a bit naughty. I don't know, we can go over the sofa.
We'll line all the lights of you against a wall.
Go away. No, that's cheating. Got 30 seconds left. Doodle, why do this to me? No. What I am going to do, though, is get ready to blow a head off. We're literally playing Ring-a-Ring-a-Rosie.
We'll toss you in a mass grave, scum.
No, you
Cover
won't.
you in lime.
Don't start throwing shit at me! What the fuck? I'm watching that time like it's a hawk. Time's up!
It's a top. Shoot him.
Fuck. Oh, I need to kill myself doing that. Because I couldn't, because you said I can't attack anyone. Yeah. That's why.
You don't stand a chance against the fish, mate.
It's your fault, Doodle. Not mine. Well, you can't hit me, and I can hit you.
Alarm! We've been breached.
Yeah. You motherfucker! Please don't. You got your death. Alright? You happy with that? Ow! Get fucked, you. Burn!
Alarm! We've been breached!
Comrades!
Well, the band's get off CD. What do you mean? I feel like I should know what CD is, but I'm having a moment. Oh, don't do this to me. Go away!
Oh, it was a ras.
Please be nice.
Fuck!
We'll hang you on election wall, dressed with a nice sign and all. Fuck it. Medic!
Why are you very OP?
Fuck it.
You've never been OP before.
Where did they go now?
We've got a hostile, comrades. I'm going
You're a
after
hostile.
them. You won't escape the fifth. Come out and we'll make it quick for you.
Medic!
Oh, hello.
You're pretty much dead.
Got me. Cover me.
This is good little goodness. If I can fucking use... Ah! No, you gotta wait 60 seconds. But I don't think you'll do it. I don't think you'll make it.
Are you crap hat soldiers? Go for it.
Go away! With your shit haircut.
That.
Where have you all come from?
Let's see how the top flight You don't stand
Go away! These are quite difficult to kill, actually. Why? Why are you so difficult? Why are you reloading? Nearly killed myself. So many stim packs are being used. Go away. Don't reload there.
You're messing with the column.
Oh, fuck. That hole might have saved my life. I think.
Let's see how the tough likes this.
I don't like that one bit. Have we not any stairs? Or do I have to...
Them, they're quick.
I am. Do I have to take the lift going up? Are you actually taking the piss?
For every one of us, we'll get 10 of yours.
Oh, you motherfucker. But that's one command I was meant to take off. So now, obviously, I'm right-handed. I've got to play left-handed. So thank you, Lyndon.
I lost them. Anyone got eyes on?
No, but this is probably going to be a death.
ain't gonna shoot you in the head or anything. Promise? You thought you could hide, huh? The fifth one.
Avenge me. What's got me? I'll die for the fifth.
I can't jump. Oh, I fell down anyway. Okay.
Going down.
You're all just trying to fuck me now.
Where did they go now?
Going down.
Hello.
You knackered already?
I am.
And we'll put you to rest.
Actually, has one wrist playing like this. It feels really unnatural.
You won't escape the fifth. Come out, damn it! They got away. Someone send a report.
I mean, it's still not easy. In fact, it's the opposite of easy. Just feels very unnatural. That's actually really hurt my wrist. This is going to be difficult. They're fucking everywhere now. I don't even know how long it's been either. Playing reversed. Come here, dog. Hold my junk. But don't walk away from me, not while I'm doing shit left-handed. I can go in there, I can go in there, I can go in there. I'm not even wearing my armor. I just realised. My full armor. Yeah, I can't run, so don't ask me to run. I can't switch back now. Maybe even if you say no, I'm fucking going to. Just for anarchists to screw me over again in a minute. I can just see him hovering over that button. Well, what we'll do is we will return this, and I'll probably call it a night there. Probably, don't know. Depends if there's anything else he asks me to sort out. Then we shall be back on Sunday for a long one. I'll say long. 3-4 hours, maybe 5. We should finish this, and if we do finish this earlier, we'll jump on something else. Oh, she'll slap me, 100%. Don't you worry about that. She will 100% slap me. See, you just given me a reason to set up my favourite menu. Oh. Lyndon. That's brilliant. Oh, excuse me. That's right. We're going to go into fucking loading screen hell. Five subs and I'll add it. Anarchist needs a sub. I've got to make it beneficial to, you know, to me to get slapped. And it also means Anarchist gets to watch me ad-free. But that's the price. You know what I love to do, actually? The ads are very painful, and I can't control them at the moment. Twitch is locked them to a certain amount. Like, you get a few pre-rolled ads when you first watch the channel. I mean, I think it's every half an hour, 45 minutes. There's like a minute of ads or 2 minutes of ads. I'm not too sure. I think for that one 2-minute ad, I get like a cent. It's fuck all. Load screen of hell. Subs are cheap at the moment because it's currently September. I think it's like half the price. But you could also subscribe for free using Amazon Prime if you use Prime. Which, to be fair, Twitch does not promote as much as they should. Like, Prime subs, completely free to you guys. But supports, you know, the channel and the stream. What I should do is set a sub goal for something absolutely horrific for me. But I don't know what I'd set the thing to be. Sub goal, do a flip. Me do a flip. I'd fall straight on my ass. And the rest. I can't do a backflip to save my life. That's not a nice point. Falling straight in my ass. Da, da, da. Oh, also tap to have it for some reason. Holy. Go on. What else are you going to ask me to do now? Give us something ridiculous, isn't it? Anything else you need me to do? Or fuckface?
We've already recorded the show. Replace the circuit and we can transmit.
Watch the broadcast. Do I have to?
This is London. The government have given instructions for the following important announcements. It has come to the attention of Parliament and the Sovereign that the disaster in Peckham was no accident. I have to tell you now that the assailants who claimed the lives of over 200 citizens hailed from the reactionary clandestine group known as Angel. It is believed by intelligence services that further attacks on British soil are imminent. Consequently, our nation is under a state of emergency. For those fortunate enough to have eluded the attack, the Broadcast Ministry has secured exclusive footage of the event. We recommend that those listening on a radio device make their way to the nearest telescreen. Stand by for transmission.
Ooh. It's my work.
Hold on. I'm getting reports. We've had communication from Angel. Yes, I see. Ladies and gentlemen, I am hesitant to announce that we have received communication from Chairman Theodore Francois himself. The government has authorized the full broadcast of this message. Stand by for transmission.
London, hear my voice. Hear the voice of supremacy. For we shall invade London.
No, Lyndon, dude. I appreciate you coming and chill out, mate.
No Britain is safe.
Hope you have a good
Every one of you
sleep.
dogs will submit to our authority. Our face, extinction. Surrender or die, London. Seal, lie, and behold our majesty. The choice is yours.
Disturbing correspondence from Angel there. We're live back in the studio. We will now resume the announcements. All gatherings for the purposes of entertainment and amusement, whether outdoor or indoor, are prohibited until further notice.
So.
In the light of experience, it may be possible to allow the reopening of such places in some areas. They are being closed because if they were hit by a bomb, large numbers would be killed or injured. So keep off the streets as much as possible. To expose yourself unnecessarily adds to your danger. In the event of threatened air raids, warnings will be given by means of sirens or hooters. When you hear any of these sounds, take shelter. Now, most importantly of all, you must comply with authorities. It is crucial to our survival. That is the end of these announcements.
Well done, I say. That is a good broadcast.
Everything seems to be going well. Our work here is done. Isn't it glorious? Every prole in the city will soon have no choice but to submit to Smythe. Speaking of, he telephoned. Asked for you personally. He said it's a matter of utmost urgency. I'd head straight to his office. No delays.
Oosh. There is a good time to end, I think. I hope. I think. I don't know. Is it? That looks like a lot of murder about to happen. So I think so. We'll call it there. I think so. I think so as well, Doodle. Cheers, everyone, for hanging out with me. Anarchist, happy birthday again. Hope you have a great day, mate. I will be back on Sunday. Boom. That's what's going to happen, I hope. We get to nuke London entirely. But yeah, I hope you have a great birthday, dude. Thanks for hanging out and chilling with me and making my life a living misery. I'll be back on Sunday for a relatively long stream, which I think we might be ending Fallout London. I'm not too sure yet. I think we are. But, yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all. I believe you're all in my Discord anyway. Yeah, you all are. But yeah, we're going to go say hello to my favourite Scottish friend, Abtots. Former 104th. Used to be a big Foxhole player. Doesn't play anymore because he doesn't like it. Boo. Yeah, we'll go say hello to him. Cheers, guys. I will see you on Sunday.
Thanks. Bye! He's seen it. Folks, please take the opportunity to check out Digital Onyx, a fucking awesome motherfucker who is hosts us, keeps us running on the Onyx OS. We do have a fucking brief moment. Want to support our channel? Do it. He's always in here chilling out, dropping the fucking lurk and the raids. And because I stream later than pretty much exclusively, it's very, very fucking we get the chance to raid him. So please take this opportunity to show him our support as a community. Hold on. Stuff. Want to fucking bury out. Thank you very much. Anna. Is it Anarchist? Thank you very much.